Forget the medicinal aspects of that and other things today that we know about, but then you have to wonder, did these people know about communion with the body and blood of Christ? Did they know about drink this and so on and so forth when there are direct instructions from James to keep away from blood? Oh, that's just symbolic blood, that's a glass of wine. But would they even do it symbolically? Would this really be, is this really an accurate doctrine of the early church, or something literary that I would say may have come in later? That's what I mean by literary. Is this historical or literary? Anyway, it's the whole subject of this New Testament code, because I say at the subtitle, the cup of the Lord, the Damascus covenant, and the blood of Christ. And the reason I say that is in the last couple of chapters, but I hint at it all the way through. And I said it in the James book to some extent too. Damascus in Hebrew means, in Hebrew, dam in Hebrew is blood, and kus in Hebrew is cup. And the whole thing about the Eucharist, that's why I call it the New Testament. The whole thing about the Eucharist is that this is the new covenant. This is the cup of the new covenant in my blood. Cup and blood. Part of the word in Hebrew of Damascus. Is that accidental? What are the possibilities of such a weird parallel convergence being just accidental? What would the probability of that be? Maybe in the hundreds of thousands to one or something like that? It's just an amazing correspondence. So I pick up on it. So that, I don't say at the end, I didn't say which comes first, because I don't know which came first. The Damascus or the Pauline presentation in 1 Corinthians. And is one playing on the other, is what I end up asking in that book. But in any case, you can read the end of that book. Let's go to the Damascus book. So this is really interesting stuff. So you see, this is the most important Qumran doctrine, period. Even though it was found in the Geniza, as I said, there are 10 or 11. You know, how do we know 10 or 11? Because it's different handwriting, and we can match up the fragments with the material here. Now, hear all you knowers of righteousness. If you look at Ramesh's translation, you know, I don't have it at my fingertips here, but it's pretty similar. You know, I'm going to have some quarrels with him there. Now, hear all you who know righteousness. I try to be more literal. It literally says knowers of righteousness. That's what it says. Yodade Tzedek. Knowers of righteousness. Okay, it's more elegant to say all you who know righteousness. Plus, you don't want to copy someone else's translation anyway. So, you know, you got to always, but still, it wasn't necessary. And comprehend the works of God. This is a good enough place to start. We don't need all that. Stay away from pollution and so on and so forth. But it is nice. It's nice to know that they mentioned the sons of light in the previous column. Notice works already. We agree on that. And that really is a Hebrew word. Based on the usage, ayin, shin, hey. Oseh, osim, oseh. The reason it's so important is that in the Habakkuk commentary, we're going to come upon a limitation on the applicability of the Habakkuk commentary to the doers of Torah in the house of Judah. Habakkuk 2:4 will be circled, and you know Habakkuk 2:4 is the building block of Christian theology. The righteous shall live by his faith. If you don't know that, now you know it. So Habakkuk 2:4. Oh, that was one of the things on the trip we took down to the scroll thing, and all the people from the church were saying, well, Jesus, you know more about the New Testament than we do. I said, well, you know, I've been teaching for 35 years. I ought to. He said, but you're Jewish. How do you know more than we know? Being Jewish or not Jewish is of no consequence. You know, you study the thing enough, and you know it anyway. I don't agree with the Jews on everything. So, you know, what you are has no bearing on what your knowledge is. I mean, I could be I could be from Somalia and have the same, information if I just worked on it. And so can you too. But they seem pretty surprised by it. When are you going to convert to Catholicism? Aren't you going to convert soon? Well, that was before they knew my background. They didn't know my background. I said, well, why should I convert? And I told them, what? That's impossible. Funny. Anyway, the world is funny, I tell you. But it's also entertaining. You've got to go out there and you'll enjoy it. So, doers. Hebrew, I told you, is based on roots. How can I give it to you? That's the Hebrew root, but it really is. We do a sign like that for iron, and then that's the vowel. Well, for a past tense, it's asa. For a person, it's ose. A person who does something. That's to do. This is the one who does. Just change the vowels around here. And plural is osim. And construct is ose. Torah, it really is hot Torah. So that is the construct of the plural. Ose Torah is doers of the Torah. You'll see in, I think, column 7 of the Habit Pesher, that's why it's so important. It says, this applies to doers of the Torah within the house of Israel. Well, the actual verbal noun is ma'asim. Here's your ose here. Here's your plural, and this is a verbal noun. Made from ma in front of the thing makes a verbal noun. Ma'asim means works. And I try to translate wherever I see that, because it's such an important word, it's a charged word. We know faith versus works debate in the history of Christianity and so on. And James and Paul, faith and works, etc. Whenever I see works, I make sure it's works. But Vermesh and others will sometimes translate acts, deeds, and so on. You can't do that. You have to be consistent. I try to be consistent wherever I see the same language, and that misleads a little bit the reader. I don't think they do it on purpose. It just is misleading. They don't recognize important words. I tend to capitalize in my translation. I only did the 3 documents. I didn't do it because it's too much work to do the whole thing. They have people helping them in places like Oxford and Chicago and Harvard. They have students that they put to work on this stuff. We can't do that here. So they have graduate programs that are really, functioning in languages that they can put the students to work on this kind of